it just seems odd to go against Acend when they've had such an impressive tournament and an impressive last couple of weeks since they picked up Respectful. I don't think this is going to be a walk in the park for Acend, and I do think there is a small percentage chance that Online Warriors could take us to another best of 5, but across 2 best of 5s, you have to favor Acend.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really difficult to not kind of favor Acend in this situation. But, you know, just on the odds that potentially Online Warriors have what it takes to do this, you know, Shazy, do you think having Shaady on this team really does start to even things out for them? Does it give them a better fighting chance going up against a roster that really they have a little bit more of a deep dive into with Shaady?
These are such new and fresh squads, even though some of these players have played together for a long time. As a 4, they are very much new boys on the block, and we are in store for a fantastic grand finals.
The reigning defending champions up against the Online Warriors. Do they have what it takes to topple the Kings here in the final Pro Series before Valencia? The Respectful getting the first kill. The start here will favor Acend just a touch, with the Rockets also being secured, but this Strongholds game, Dan, it's going to be back and forth. There's not a doubt about it.
Definitely going to be back and forth. If there's one thing Acend are good at, it is Strongholds games, the way they move around the map as a unit. But from what we've seen today of Online Warriors, they play in a very similar fashion, a very similar strategy and approach they have to the game. And maybe it's something that Shady's brought to this Online Warriors roster as well. As you mentioned earlier, he might know a few tricks of the trade, as Snakey behind enemy lines here just needs to back off. He needs support from the team, and there comes the support.
Support comes, but maybe a little bit too late. Lqgend the last man standing though for Acend. 2 members up for Online Warriors as they now look to get their first points. A and C in control. Acend have to settle for B here as the team spawn back up and they look to engage once more. Mose will fire back those couple of shots and turn his attentions back towards A. Lqgend will find your first initial pick, and that will make this defense for Mose far more difficult than it would have been beforehand, and 3 dead now for Online Warriors.
I mean, if we go by the script, Online Warriors should win this one. With everything that's happened over these past couple of weeks, you know, Respectful got dropped. He then beat his previous team. He goes on to win the tournament. Online Warriors, Shaady, got dropped by his previous team, gets to play his previous team, goes on to win the tournament. You know, it's all written in the stars there, but Online Warriors have to actually turn up on the day. And already we can see in these opening stages how closely contested this is, not just in the slaying department, with how they're trying to control these strongholds and how difficult it is for them to hold on to a setup.
Well, speaking of the script, Respectful still alive, but he's barely breathing. Top tower is going to be the next fight, and he's not long for the world. The Snakey does eliminate him. 2 dead for Acend. That will open up the map now for Online Warriors to crank the pressure just a little bit. But how much can they crank it? Can they really make Acend pay for the stepping out line that they've just done? A and C remain in control of Acend. Mose has the rocket. Splash damage will be enough to lock in a double kill, but they're still not scoring.
This is one thing that Acend should be advantageous in a position like this. When they have control, that's when they should be at their very best, to be able to then put pressure on the spawners of Online Warriors and not allow them to escape, so they can start to do work and start to get slays as Lqgend takes down Shaady. And I'm sure that one's going to feel good because the Bulldog was in his hands, and we know how dangerous that Bulldog can be when you're up close and personal.
Lqgend look to get close once more. Onto Mose, not opting to use the battle rifle this time. Back PD though. Eyes set, heaven, feet planted for a moment. Spawn's coming in cafe side though, and he's going to be the first point of contact, and Snakey gets popped down to no shields. He steps out once more, ensures to lock in that kill for his team, but it's Respectful back C, desperately trying to scamper away. Shaady, the man who he replaced, will be the one to get the final bullet in the back of the dome, and Respectful will be eliminated this time. A and B in contention now as we find these teams. Acend have managed to get a real foothold in the game now, Dan. It's whether Online Warriors can match the pace.
Well, Online Warriors have finally been able to break into B, but it's going to be a big fight over towards C that's happening right now. Shaady, now he knows his team at A. He just needs to milk and stay alive. You can't afford to just throw your death away and then allow Acend to have the numbers. So instead, he does play his life. He gets away, and look at how he's just sprinting to try and get into a position to help teammates here. His movement around maps, very good, very quick. Knows how to be sliding all over the place. In fact, it looks like sometimes he is just lubed up with whatever he can find so he can slip and slide around the map as quick as possible.
Shaady down to no shields. He Be not slipping and sliding for too much longer. So here comes the rockets. Snipedrone with the boom box over the shoulder. What tunes will it be playing here? Lqgend picks up 2 in the feed. That'll make these rockets not as important as they might have been before. But we'll still have to lock in one. It's going to be a trade. So often they can be when you clamber up. You get locked into that animation, and Sica turns A in his team's favor, but also has to turn his attention towards Arcade. But it's been so good so far for Acend. Online Warriors playing in patches, Dan, but they've been unable to really dictate the pace.
Yeah, as we get into the meat of this metaphorical sandwich, we're starting to realize that Acend just seem to have a better hold of this game over Online Warriors, even though it's very close to begin with. And okay, Acend are all 4 dead right now. Acend have done far better when they've been holding setups. They've been pushing those spawns. Online Warriors have kind of been scattered all over the place, trying to escape desperately from, you know, like ants in a little hillside that are trying to escape a small child, maybe trying to light them on fire, as he should not be doing. But none of them able to get together, all just scampering across the map and Acend picking them apart. And now Online Warriors need to be pushing themselves as a 4, making sure they take down Acend off spawn and not allowing them to have that much success.
What a terrifying analogy that was. Ants getting burnt alive, chased by a child. I'll try and not think about that when I sleep tonight. But Sica in the PD, along with his teammate Respectful, jumping up and down, desperately trying to stay alive, much as though, like the ants would have been running from that child. But Phlux back tower, taken down 2 half shields, and Snakey in the tires also gets dispatched this time. Beautiful shots out of Sica, and although he's having a bit of a slow game, 6 and 11, it's Online Warriors to continue to dictate the pace now with A and C in their control, but it might not be for much longer.
They need these rockets though, and Snipedrone's got the perfect vantage point now. He can watch like an eagle in the sky down on his prey. Mose does get hold of them, but unfortunately his life is short-lived, and Snipedrone knows exactly where they are. Straight onto those rockets after the information was relayed from the rest of the team, but Shaady gets there first.
Shaady beats him to the punch. We'll lock in 2 for his team. That rocket will be detrimental to the cause. A locked in for Online Warriors. It's going to be C for Acend, and now the contest for B. Mose in a 1v1. He's managed to come out on top, but it's going to be a trade nonetheless, and that means that Acend can sneak in. Lqgend 6's toe in, gets the reset, and that's going to mean more points in favor of Acend, but there's very little separating them now, only 30 or so points.
Yeah, one set of Slayers can reward you now with about 30 to 40 points with how these teams are both playing and setting up. It's a little bit scrappy at the moment with A and C, the outer edges being held by Acend, but if Online Warriors can pick and choose as to where they want to go, they might be able to get into either. But Acend, again, they pressure. They recognize that Online Warriors rotate around from B. They try and take it off them, but Phlux, similarly to what he's done in Capture the Flag, very quick to push back and not allow that cap to happen.
Can Phlux and Co withstand the pressure? B is in their control, but A and C once more. It's a per-man setup for Acend, but it's going to be enough to keep on scoring points. Lqgend is situated over towards Cafe. Phlux with that information will now move into the hill. Mose picking up 2 in the feed. That will help the cause no end. They look to control A and B once more, but every time they step into one hill, Acend very quickly rotate.
They fight so hard to get one, don't they? But then Acend are already there at next hill. You've got to try and beat them in that race, but it's so difficult to do so. Acend are the Usain Bolt of the Halo world when it comes to how quickly they transfer from one stronghold to another. But Online Warriors, they've been able to hold on to A and B here, and if they can pressure C, if they can actually force Acend back into a position where they are those ants that are trapped, and suddenly Online Warriors look like maybe they could even potentially take this game 1, but Acend fight out far better than Online Warriors have.
Now I find myself just thankful that Jamaica don't play Strongholds. Not much is for sure. They would have the competitive advantage, but Online Warriors looking a bit like a Jamaican bobsled team right now and could use a little bit of help. But B and C out of their control and about to be the first triple cap in a while, so the pain's really starting to get cranked.
Yeah, Acend have got a bit of a lead to work with now. That means that, you know, they can play this in a way that they want. They don't have to rush towards Strongholds. They don't have to desperate anything and put themselves in 1v1s. There is a little bit of scrappiness going on. Like, Acend don't look in complete control. I think Online Warriors have done very well to, you know, make Acend have to fight every single time off spawn. As soon as they actually appear on the map once more, there seems to be a BR shooting at them. So Online Warriors have done at least well at pressuring them in that scenario.
All of a sudden, Online Warriors are going to look in a triple cap of their own. Mose has picked up another double kill. playing very, very well is Mose. 24 kills, 14 deaths. He has the 3 assists to boot, so more of that, please, and you should see some success. Having said that, C is starting to transfer as well as A. Respectful down to no shields. 3 dead now once more for Acend, and all of a sudden, question marks being asked. Online Warriors have them on the ropes.
Yeah, they're playing exactly how Acend would as well. Now they're pressuring them on C. They were trying to force them out of it, but Acend have done better to actually escape up driveway there and avoid Snakey initially. But Shaady was there waiting, ambushing, and now he can find 3 members of his ex-team and really put Online Warriors in a position where they could potentially win this game. Next set of rockets is going to tell us a lot about who's going to take control in these next 2 stages.
Online Warriors doing a fantastic job of just dictating what way Acend are going to go, smoking them like foxes out of a hole.
Not ants
that's
out
why
of
we're
a hill.
seeing them. Not ants out of hills.
Okay,
Much better
checking.
analogy. See that?
Yeah,
See that?
far better.
Let's use that one from now on because that other one was terrifying. But B and C in control. 203 points to 193. So now all of a sudden Acend have some questions to ask. And 2 members dead. They're going to have to wait for their teammates to spawn back up. Snakey has the rockets and it's a full set 2 to boot. So it's going to be a tough push up this driveway, up this hill. Because you could be heading straight towards your death. Snakey getting taken into no shields. Owen will get taken down. Rockets have gone down. Mose has also joined him. And all of a sudden, Acend have made a successful push.
And you say how it's the boomstick. It's like the death stick at the moment. You pick up those rockets and you fall straight away. They just seem to be bad luck. But whoever finds them in their hands, A, B, and C now going to be in control of Acend. And just like that, they were down. It looked like Online Warriors were in control and that this was going to be a game maybe going towards the blue team. But how back and forth is this? A and C both being fought for, and these rockets could really change the pace of the game.
And the rockets, it's B, see you later at the moment for Acend. Rockets go down once more. Splash damage is enough to get the kill, but it's going to be a trade. 223 and climbing now. Online Warriors need to go. They step into the hill. 3 dead for Acend. Now all of a sudden Acend will have to come off the respawn and answer some questions because if the next few kills don't go in their favor, game 1 will go against them.
Where do Acend go? They've been able to take A, but now they need to band up and actually make a push towards one of these other strongholds. But Online Warriors are trying to collapse. They're trying to suffocate to not allow Acend actually to have any sort of breathing room or thinking space to try and make a push here. But it looks like Pink Street's going to be the choice, but they need to move quickly. 240 points for Online Warriors.
It's 2 dead apiece. B and C still in control. 2 members set up. It's going to be a full hard defensive B. Will it stand strong? Respectful steps out, but it's not going to be enough. They could not get a foot in the stronghold. And Online Warriors take game 1.
Online Warriors have just walked into Ascend's backyard and sent them back out the front door saying, welcome to the grand finals. You are not going to have an easy road here whatsoever. That is usually one of Ascend's best game types. Any sort of strongholds, Acend look like they're at home, but not going to be happening here. Online Warriors are very much going to make a grand final of this, and I think that this is a very exciting time for not just European Halo, but for the Online Warriors players who have been waiting for this chance to go up against Acend again. They took 1 game off them in the winners bracket, remember, but that was a best of 3. Now we're into a best of 5, and just look at the amount of slays that we've seen on that side. I mean, that is a performance worthy of already a reset potential here from the Online Warriors. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but they look very much in commanding fashion.
And Acend, Dan, for many, many months have been the European bullies. All of a sudden now, there's some teams, particularly this Online Warriors, that are starting to stand up, and they've had enough of handing over their lunch money. And with a game like that from Mose, he put down 29 kills, 6,000 damage, but across the board, like you spoke about it spread so evenly.
Has to be spread evenly. You can't afford to have a weak link in any sort of stage of this competition, especially in the grand finals. And Online Warriors all seem to be stepping up when they need to. And Mose, who did have a poor game previously earlier in this tournament, a poor series, some might say, now seems to have shaken that off, doesn't look affected whatsoever, and looks a new man coming into this grand finals. And this Online Warriors team really look set out for blood here. And unfortunately for Acend, they might just be in front of the warpath that is unfolding, because Online Warriors, they want to make a statement here, and Shaady definitely will want to turn this team into mince pie.
And something that when this team change was made, there was obviously understandable uproar. Everybody thought it was because, Acend lost 1 series, they're after dropping and removing Shaady from the team, but it was never about his ability. That was not something that was ever in question. And he's gone to a different team and he's replicating that with this Online Warrior squad, Dan. But can they now drive on here? Can they push that stake into the Ascend heart?
If they play the same way as they just did with the individual skill and the way they were actually joining up and working in tandem, absolutely they can. I'm already saying this could potentially go to another best of 5 with how Online Warriors just played that game. And you're completely right? Shaady dropped from what we hear, probably not because of performance issues, but maybe a personality clash, maybe things not necessarily right in the camp with what Acend actually offered. But now on Online Warriors, you are with a team who all just want to win. And that drive is suddenly back there for Shaady. He's going to want to practice. He's going to want to play games. He wants to win this grand final.
Ascend find themselves in very familiar territory, as I do finally get the word out there. 3 dead, though, for Online Warriors. As Ascend look to bounce back immediately here. Snipe rifle in Snipedrone's hands. Overshield's about to pop as well, and he will be overlooking that, providing cover fire for his team. Sica has to back away, and numbers not quite there. Baiting and switching is going to become in place. Mose has gotten there, but the headshot wasn't going to connect, and all of a sudden Overshield flips into the Online Warriors chest. The scoreline currently sitting at 5-3.
You put so much trust in your teammate at top tower in those scenarios where you almost want to bait that Overshield and hope that he hits that shot and almost will guarantee you the Ovi on your side. But unfortunately, Snipedrone can only connect with the body. Wasn't an easy shot because Mose had turned away, but Snipedrone still has control of this top tower. But some of these body shots need to be converted. Finally, Lqgend will at least turn 1 into a kill. And unfortunately for Mose, he's not able to get the better of Snipedrone on that occasion.
4 dead. Make that Shaady hidden very quickly back into that respawn screen. Oh, you stepped out for a second. On you pop once more. 12 kills to 5. It was a very close game for a moment. But it's then starting to flex their muscles. And Snipedrone in particular really putting this snipe rifle to really good use. Mose down to no shields. Body shot, but the headshot on hand in the battle rifle. That trigger finger will get the job done eventually. 16 kills to 8, and Acend, they're a little bit irritated, Dan.
Yeah, sometimes when you poke the bear, it can turn a little bit ugly, and that seems to have been what's happened at the moment. Online Warriors haven't necessarily got into this game, but 8 kills in it. I wouldn't say they're down and out just yet. Mose on 0 and 4. He's just had a very incredible game number 1, but struggling in the early stages here. Acend just being able to keep them on that respawn screen, keep them in that spawn trap situation. You notice how Acend, they're collapsing, they're looking at spawns, they're constantly trying to find the Online Warriors roster who haven't been able to get a grip of this map whatsoever.
Respectful with the help of the Overshield, helps secure 2 kills for his team. Mose, the latest one to fall. That's going to be 4 dead once more for Online Warriors. 24 kills to 11, and this starts to become then a very tough conversation to have about any real sense of a comeback, it must be said.
Yeah, a 13 kill difference should never be a comeback, but I know we've seen it happen. We saw it happen earlier on Slayer Catalyst, but I think Livefire is an entirely different ballgame. And with how Acend have been, well, not really missing, and also the speed of which they've been playing, Online Warriors haven't had the chance to even think about how they want to set up and break the way that Acend have been positioning themselves, to be honest. So 27-13, a 14 kill difference. You do start to think about game 3 already, but this is exactly the response that Acend had to put on show. If Online Warriors had gone 2-0 up in the series, then Acend would have started to panic a little bit, started to maybe doubt themselves, question themselves. Respectful might have started to think, oh god, what's going to happen? Am I going to lose to the team that I left? But with a dominating Slayer, the belief starts to flow back through the veins, excuse me.
33 kills to 15 then. Respectful with the sniper rifle in his hands. He's already helped his team secure 7 kills. Not really looking to step out here. Phlux drops down into pillars. That first warning shot will not connect. Goes just across the bow, and that's going to mean that it opens the door for Phlux to pick up the sniper rifle instead. Snipedrone, though, he has other ideas and other intentions. But it's a straight out brawl. But Acend have come out on top once more. They only require 13.
Chalk it up. Send us to game 3. Overshield going to be grabbed by Respectful as well. If there was ever any doubt of where this game's going to go, I think that is going to secure a victory for Acend already. An 18 kill difference between the two teams. Even if you slowed this down now for Online Warriors and were able to get 2 sets of all 4 dead, you still find yourself over 10 kills behind. As Respectful now with this Overshield can just go wherever he wants, wherever he pleases. Online Warriors already know what's happened here. They know it's game 3 on the horizon.
It's a matter of when, not if, then it would seem. 3 go down. Shaady. Last man on his ones. But not for long as Lqgend wins that 1v1. Now we will see that play out more often. And in Valencia, no doubt, we will see these teams be back and forth. 48 kills to 22 now. And what was a very close game 1 has been an absolute blowout in game 2 as the final kill finally gets locked in. This series is 1-1 Acend bounce back.
And this is exactly what we saw in the winners bracket in the best of 3, where Online Warriors were able to get that opening objective game in a fairly close game for them, but then the Slayer was a complete blowout. Acend completely dominated it as well. And when you look at this Online Warriors roster, you wonder how that happens, because you've got 4 players who are very talented individually and very rarely will miss those shots and lose those engagements, but Acend very much working in tandem far better than the Online Warriors, and they needed to do so. I mean, I was worried. I think everyone else was kind of like, oh, maybe Online Warriors are going to have a chance in this grand finals, but I think that will just settle everyone down, me included, and say, all right, don't forget just what Acend have done in the past and what this team means and what they want to achieve, not just in Europe, but international competition as well. I mean, when Respectful only has to do 1,800 damage and you still win 50-24, you know you've had a blummin' great game.
And I suppose questions have to be asked, Dan, because I remember when this Online Warrior squad originally got put together with Respectful, you said that this is 4 heavy-hitting Slayers, is the way you described it.
Yeah.
And they've just lost 50-24 in what you would assume is one of their, their stronger game types, it must be said. They're all such strong individual players. They find themselves getting staked, and it wasn't even a case of it, them being in the game in patches. They were completely outplayed, outthought, outmaneuvered. We now head into CTF Bazaar. Is there an avenue for them to bounce back, or is it going to be, do you think, an Acend train now?
It is looking like it could be an Acend train, right? But at the same time, Bazaar Capture the Flag plays an entirely different pace than what we've seen previously. Choo-choo, indeed, as you pull that horn. But when we look at Ascend's history on this map, the first time they'd ever lost Bazaar Capture the Flag was that week where, they finished in 3rd place. In online European competition is what I'm talking about. Acend have just dominated Bazaar Capture the Flag historically. Now they've got Respectful, so they will play slightly different, you'd imagine. But naturally, when 3 of those 4 players were so good at this map, you'd think it should translate naturally to a new 4 playing it. So yes, I think Acend should take this game, but Online Warriors at the same time, they can now slow this game down a little bit. They can try and stop Acend from being able to run through them. I will say that I think that with how both of these teams play, it becomes very snowbally, not just on this map, but almost every map. That's why we saw Acend run out of control there, because they got in so much control that Online Warriors just weren't able to get their way back into the game, and Acend just kept building upon that. So if that first flag cap goes in favor of either of these teams, and they're able to keep that mid control, we could see things just snowball out of control in both sides.
Acend have bounced back, showing signs of life. Online Warriors looking so good in game number 1, but found wanting in the Slayer. The stage is set now. CTF Bazaar is going to be a game number 3, and which way will the pendulum swing when this one's all over? Respectful in the treehouse, firing a couple of shots already across the way. The Shaady and indeed phlux, both players down to no shields, and that's going to mean that Acend should get map control off the back of it.
It's 2-for-1 trade. Respectful needs to stay alive here, which he does. Where did this overshield end up? Did it already get depleted? Where did the rockets end up? Those are my biggest questions right now, and I think maybe the players are also asking the same questions. Sica looking around a little bit lost at the moment, but one thing that he does know is that his team has the advantage. They've been able to gain map control. This is a very brave push going up towards Bar, but once you arrive there, you're in such a commanding position.
Phlux desperately trying to stay alive. Back flag. Been successful so far. 3 go down. Sica, last man alive in Bar, recognizes this and has to slow down this push. Stay alive and be a real nuisance behind enemy lines, but Mose has cleared him out. The riffraff is gone, and now all of a sudden Online Warriors have control of the map.
Dynamos allow Snakey to just zone a little bit, gain some information perhaps from Bart. Will spot out Respectful, but here comes the push from Online Warriors. They know that they need to get an entry first, but you don't want to put yourself in an area where you can just be naded and bombarded. 2 have gone down for Online Warriors, but sometimes losing a player means that you can't even push in Bazaar. You need to have all 4 of your players up if you've not been able to take down the entire of the other roster. It's so difficult.
Over a minute and a half deep then. Nothing to scream and shout about on the scoreboard. It's ebbed and flowed as we expected it to. Snakey has picked up the dynamos. Used one already. The second one, no doubt, will be thrown and is over towards pillars. It tags Lqgend down to no shields, but he's still looking to get frisky in this fight. Has to try and step out for the overshield. Mose, perfectly placed grenade, will deny him that. The privilege now of seeking a 1v1. It's a huge one, but Phlux comes out on top. Overshield popped into his chest as well. And now all online warriors need to start moving forward.
And as my notes do finally load, for some reason I was in offline mode for the last like 10 minutes. It was Bazaar capture the flag that online warriors beat Acend earlier in the winners bracket. So they've already been able to, you know, dethrone Ascend's best game type as it used to be. So online warriors, they won that one 3-2. So that's going to give them great confidence coming into this one. And even though I would have thought naturally Acend are the favorites, I guess if you look at what happened in the previous series, online warriors probably consider this a really good game type to try and take Acend down.
Speaking of down, Mose down to no shields. Has rectified that now though. Got 3/4 respectful in a 1v1. Mose comes out, gets the trade. 2 down a piece here. Flag still moving. Shaady throws it out front base. Snipedrone recognizes this, puts a couple of shots down, and ultimately Shaady somehow soaring and foring eliminates the Englishman. And that's going to make this flag grab a little bit more easy than perhaps it first was. Shaady now through the double doors. Grenade will not do the damage it needed to. And online warriors, barring a miracle here, are about to take the lead and go 1-up in the game.
Well, it seems similarly to the winners bracket match that they had previously then. Online warriors very confident on Bazaar capture the flag. Able to get the right amount of control, able to find these rockets and overshields when they need to. That is a wayward rocket. 2 spent to try and kill the player, 1 shot, but I guess Mose maybe felt like his number was up anyway and he was eventually going to fall, so he just wanted to get rid of them. But 3 down for online warriors, also 3 down for Acend. It's been very even when you look across the kind of slaying department in the most recent couple of minutes, but online warriors still seem to find themselves in the better positions.
I wonder if when Mose fired that rocket, he screamed diagonally. It's the only thing that really makes sense as to where it ended up, because God knows it didn't find a home. Snaky top rockets, though, will be eliminated by Respectful, and now Acend need to grow in confidence because it's been all online warriors. It's been one-way traffic for the last few minutes. They really put that overshield to great use, but it's now for Acend to do the same on the opposite side of things. Snakey and Phlux situate over towards that shotgun side. Mose with the sizzle sticks. Throws 1 down. Will not do the damage, but ultimately overshield player has been eliminated. Now Sica tries to throw that flag out similar to the way Shaady did, but unable to do so. Denied once more by Mose.
I mean, speaking of Diagon Alley and Harry Potter, I do feel like the majority in this lobby are Slytherins. I mean, Snakey names it itself. Shaady, naming itself. Phlux, yeah, kind of explains itself. I do feel like Sica may be a Hufflepuff, but everyone else...
Yeah.
Everyone else, I think, is probably a Slytherin in this lobby. Maybe that's why they've had so much success. You know, Slytherin, a very powerful house.
No chance I'm catching the snitch right now, that much is for sure. But Sica, down bottom shotgun. Couple of spike grenades up towards the bar bridge. Nobody stepping out there for a cigarette right now. It's a shout out to KotH, who during scrims will often take a cigarette break and milk everybody watching on Twitch. So thank you, Kieran. But Sica here has backed over towards the rocket side. Shaady in a 1v1 against his former teammate, and he manages to pip him there. 2 dead for online warriors, but Lqgend's got the flag moving for Acend.
Nice nades to be able to get the frags here. Snakey, the first one to fall. 2 dead for online warriors. Flag moving for Acend. One thing that I've always said Acend do well on this map is how efficiently they move the flag across the map when they do get a pull, when they do get a run on their hands. Grenades will at least delay, you'd think, but no. Lqgend does get that flag all the way across. No chance for online warriors to stop that one.
We're all tied up then. Honors even. And a very pivotal part of the game as overshield and rockets pop up at the exact same time. Shaady desperately trying to stay alive. Unable to do so. 2v2 on the map. Which way will they split the resources here? Lqgend throws down a couple of denial nades. Gets the information that player's tucked in towards the fruit, and he's not buying what he's selling. This is for sure. Overshield ready to be grabbed, waiting for his shields to pop up. Respectful is the first man to step out of line, pick it up for his team. Has not popped into his chest just yet. Opting for the best possible moment. It's not something we see very often. It can be high risk, high reward. Down to no shield. That overshield will finally get popped into the chest, but the flag's on the move.
I've changed my mind. I think Phlux is more of a Gryffindor. more of like a Neville Longbottom. You know, when you don't expect it, he stands up to you. He stops a flag. He comes back into the base. He manages to get that final nade. That's the phlux that we know and love. And we need that phlux to be appearing right about now. Otherwise, Respectful is going to get that flag across the map. Nades are going to come in thick and fast, as Richard Sims used to say. But Snipedrone getting a double kill is going to give Respectful the freedom to toss the flag. But this is good movement from Acend. They've been able to run yet another flag comfortably across the map, shows.
Lqgend does punch that one in. That early wobble in the game has rectified itself. Acend back on top here. 2-1 the score with 4:45 on the clock then. Lqgend position down towards the trenches, and that's exactly what we've been in all series long.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy for either of these teams, even though Acend have had really 2 successful runs back-to-back, pretty much. Online Warriors have certainly made them work for it. Acend have had to slay out quite heavily before they could even push in the base and get a pull, but it has been really the grenades from that flag stand just to the Mangler area to ensure that Online Warriors can't even get any shots on that flag runner before they get out the double doors, and that makes really hard work for those who are overextending to the other side of the map.
Things getting a bit hairy for Online Warriors, much like Hagrid. Damn, we need to stop these Harry Potter references.
We do. I mean, I thought mine was the last, but now I'm going to have to go for another one.
You have to do another one. It's the way it works. We're playing Harry Potter tennis at this point. But flag on the move. Online Warriors looking to stop it in his tracks down. Respectful with the overshield, backs off towards his own base. And overshield is well and truly gone as he's been lit up, but they still maintain the advantage here, 2-1. It's Online Warriors who have to make the first moves, and then maybe they open the door and take a few more risks.
Respectful just being a nuisance and staying alive, but sometimes you can just draw the attention from the other team by standing in those positions. Like, he would have been called out so heavily there. They're lockers, they're lockers, they're lockers, that Acend are able to just kind of creep behind, find other positions because so much focus was on Respectful, and now they've got control, they're pushing into tree, and they could potentially start pulling another flag here if they get the slays that follow.
Only 1 kill in their favor then. Mose falls on his sword, trying to fight and defend his base. The overextension has come though, and Mose is going to be the latest one to join the party. Rockets though are going to come back and escort this flag. It's Snakey in the bar. Not for long though. The Rockets clear him out. Mose goes down. It's a double kill for Respectful. The booms, they do be blasting. Flags down bottom middle, and it's just 2 more members to contend with of Online Warriors. Respectful's already done a significant amount of damage, and he's waiting for his teammates to soften up the remaining 2 before he gets back in the fight. Lqgend has managed to get the return. It's Snakey down on double doors, but he needs all the help he can get.
Does at least get 1. But Lqgend turns around very quickly, aware of the situation, to get a return of his own, and this should be 3-1 bar a miracle grenade, which does not happen. And perhaps it was a blip earlier for Acend when they did lose in the winners bracket on this game type, because it looks like they are right back to their home comforts once more. They've got the sodas out of the fridge. I feel sick that I just called it a soda, but I didn't want to say a particular brand on stream, and that was the first thing that came to my mind.
Kind of pop, maybe a bottle of fizz, anything would have done, Dan. You didn't have to.
Even bottle of fizz doesn't feel natural to me.
I don't know. You said pop, soda. I don't know. What? Really disappointed in you today, but Sica with the bulldog to contend with, and somehow comes out on top in that engagement. 3-1 the score. 1:37 on the clock. Time well and truly against Online Warriors here. They have to get 2 unanswered flag captures here, and on Bazaar it might be too tough an ask.
Especially when you look at what Acend are doing in the slaying department. Lqgend 23 and 13. The rest of the boys all positive as well. Well, Snipedrone, he's bare evens at the moment, but it doesn't really matter when the rest of the team are playing in the way they are. Whereas on the side of Online Warriors, it's been a bit more of a struggle here on Bazaar. You can see why Acend have had so much success in the past on this map, with how they've been controlling the middle areas, how they've been prioritizing the way they push in through tree, but also controlling bar at the right areas as well. Very good with their returns, but very efficient with their flag runs.
Online Warriors, no doubt, much like the Slayer, will be looking towards the next game. They know this one's up. Their number is up here. It's all just keeping the gun nice and warm. This flag game, after a very impressive start for Online Warriors, they just were unable to maintain that momentum, Dan.
Oh wow, that's a lunge. something that you'd only see a Dementor manage to achieve. With only 20 seconds, you're right. The flag might be moving, but it doesn't really matter because this game is done and dusted, and we're going to a game 4. But Acend are going to be leading 2-1. And Online Warriors, even though it looks so promising in game number 1, Richie, this is what Acend can do. This is what Acend have always been able to do, is that they just pummel you into the ground when they have control.
And we're out of time. And it's Acend who take game number 3. And they regain themselves, and they managed to take the lead here, 2-1 in the series, Dan. And like you said, they were so good, so strong in that Bazaar CTF game, and maybe they just started to cook at the right possible time.
Which is usually around 7 o'clock for me, but I missed it today because of the Pro Series. But you know, sometimes priorities, you got to get them in order. And right now, broadcast matters. And right now, Acend looking like it could be another victory, another Pro Series going their way, Shaady, because they are one map away from winning this series. Game, map, doesn't matter. I think they're just going to be focused on trying to finish this one up. They don't want to be going to a second best of 5. They don't even want to be going to game 5 here. This is a statement from Acend if they're able to win this one comfortably. I know there is most certainly on the other side a lot of desire to win this one from the side of Online Warriors, but regardless, I think they'll still be very happy with second place if that's all they're able to achieve. But still, of course, plenty to play for.
Some very impressive stats coming out of Lqgend that last game. 6,900 damage leading the lobby. Rest of the teammate were not too far behind him, it must be said. So everyone carrying the weight of the series evenly. Mose had another game to forget in terms of damage. That much is for sure, 4.5k for him. But it must be said, with King of the Hill live fire up next, Dan, there is an element of questions to be asked. There's an element here that we can maybe say, well, these two teams probably aren't as practiced as they would like to be on this game type, and that could open the door for Online Warriors to push us to a game 5.
Yeah, there's always that element of the unknown, right, when we've got these new game types, but at some point these new game types don't become new. Although right now they are still very much in that honeymoon period of like people, you know, excited to play them, maybe not quite sure how to play them at the same time, but people will start to learn them slowly but surely. I said it earlier, even some of the top North American teams don't necessarily know how to play some of these King games. I think I was watching, it was probably Optic, wasn't it? I've set myself up for this one. Optic was scrimming yesterday, and even they didn't know how to play some of these King modes. So, you know, if one of the better North American teams is unable to do it, then you've got to be sure that a lot of teams are going to be falling behind as well. But slowly but surely, people will start to get used to it, and maybe we can learn a lot here from both of these teams as to how much time they've put into it.
Acend one game away then from maintaining themselves the best team in Europe heading into Valencia. Online Warriors have looked so good all tournament long, but is this one just one too soon? They've given as good as they gotten at times, but they're swinging for the King now, and they've got one more hit to go, but will it be fatal?
Well, certainly the way that Acend played Slayer on live fire, Online Warriors are in for a bit of a ruckus here on this map. And you don't really want to allow Acend to have as much control as they did in that Slayer, as Lqgend somehow manages to do his best Tony Hawk's impression and skate on the rail, but still goes down.
Respectful face with 2 members, and understandably doesn't win that one. Overshield still ready to be picked up though, and nobody has even thought about stepping foot inside the hill over towards green. Phlux managed to pick up the overshield, but dies as a result of it. Lqgend puts Mose in the exact same place. They're going to be buried in a very shallow grave right on that mound. Snipedrone has managed to pick up the overshield. 2 dead for Online Warriors, and all of a sudden the Online Warriors are in trouble. 2 members back tower. It's going to be Phlux and indeed Mose. 1v3 for Snipedrone, and somehow, some way, they've all managed to survive.
You know, full well Snipedrone's calling out all of those boys, and the rest of us then are like, we're getting the hill, bro. Like, just back off. We're not getting that aggro. As, you know, the opening engagement is always fighting for the overshield as Lqgend gets sent into the drink. But Online Warriors have done very well, considering they lost overshield, to be able to take that overshield down and now get hill control. That is not an easy thing to do.
Phlux said, Lqgend, you're playing a little bit too sweaty for my liking. Go for a bath, and into the drink he goes. Splish splash. And it's Online Warriors who have really made inroads into this initial hill. Just under halfway there now. It's a 1v1, Mo's last man standing on the map, but again, the overshield pops up, and every single time it does that, it turns everyone's attentions towards it.
Yeah, you have to play for it. It's so important, if not more important than ever here on King of the Hill. One thing that Online Warriors can play off is they had a very successful King of the Hill recharge earlier against Na'Vi, where they dominated 4-0, and they really knew how to set up on this on that map and how to control the spawns. If they can play in a similar manner, there's no reason why they can't find success again. I also remember them playing this game type earlier and Snakey really controlling that tower when they needed to. So Online Warriors, I think they've put in a good amount of time to King of the Hill. It's just about putting it into practice here against arguably the best team in Europe.
Snipedrone, crouch bottom middle. Heat wave in his hand, and says a Varacadabra to Shaady. I've done it again. Mose bottom middle as well. As he ultimately manages to get away, but it's going to be 1-0 now to Acend. As they've taken that first hill. And Online Warriors now have a lot of questions to answer. That heat wave, devastating at times.
Really is a weapon that you have to keep tabs on. Where is it? Who's got it? How do I avoid it? How do I take it off them? What can I do with it? A lot of questions, but usually the answer is it's in my opponent's hand and they've just ripped me to shreds. This Lqgend does get a kill, but he's not going to be able to get the sniper rifle. First point does go to Acend, and Online Warriors, even though, you know, they got back into that first hill so well after losing the initial overshield, Acend just seemed to have the better positions when it came to controlling the hill.
Mose the sniper rifle in his hands, though. Could this be the ingredient they need to break the setup? He soars into the hill trying to use it as a baseball bat, but ultimately, no damage done. And that's going to mean food and drink for this Acend roster. Sniper rifle will be signed. Initials. And Lqgend's going to take control of it now. Mose, though, comes back for more. That information will be passed over to Respectful that if he shall choose to. This sniper rifle is just behind him. A couple of steps back. Over shield, though. Shaady contending for it. But it's not for long. The over shield. The fight for it. It's been back and forth. It's been scrambles. But all this while, it's Acend who are thriving in the chaos.
Thriving and then diving into the hill is Lqgend. 2-0. And Acend, they're looking like the Acend of old. Just as we started Pro Series, way back when, number 1, Acend were the dominant force. And we get to our final Pro Series here in number 7. And they find themselves 2-0 up and 2 points away from finishing things just as they started. But Online Warriors, they won't want to allow that script to be as simple as maybe some might think. A hill here in Garage, you can set up, you can really control the game. If you can pin the opposition back towards tower, you can watch your routes, watch your avenues. These 35 seconds do go by very quickly.
Online Warriors looking at the script and trying to make a few revisions. But will the director be listening? Shaady has got the heat wave, and that can punch a hole straight through the defense that Acend have set up here over towards Garage. Online Warriors have done a significant amount of scoring. Could be about to register their first point if this next break is successful. Unfortunately, they've lost 2 members in the process. Snipedrone down to no shield. Snakey will pick up a double kill with the help of Shaady. Respectful is not going to get far either. He's the latest one to hit the respawn screen. 4 dead for Acend, and this should mean the first point for Online Warriors.
And Online Warriors need to be thinking about this next hill now. They've secured this one, so now you need to reposition and start to think about the overshield side. And this is good from Shaady. He's the player you need to be stepping up here if you're Online Warriors. You need the pop-off. No one has really been having those crazy moments so far in this game. And if Shaady can start to play the way he did earlier on in the tournament when he had control of the sniper rifle, heat wave, and hitting the shots that he was, it suddenly becomes a little bit more difficult for Acend to get as much time as they have been in the hill.
This can be a very difficult hill to break at times if you don't play it perfectly. And Snakey and phlux combining to take down one member of Acend, and all of a sudden it was a very comfortable game for Acend. Online Warriors have roared straight back to life. Like Dumbledore from the ashes. 2-2 the game now. There's still life in this series yet.
And Online Warriors already positioned themselves over towards tower. The priority position to get to control the top middle hill gives you good spawns and gives you so much sight lines. As I say, that Lqgend says, you know what, I'm going to go for a little flanker route. There's one. Anyone else want to challenge and take a fight? No, he's going to force them to drop bottom middle here, but still control of top middle and the sniper side now. And Acend might have been able to at least rattle Online Warriors a little bit here in this hill. But at 2-2, this is very much game on.
Snipedrone's got the preferable position though. Sniper rifle will evacuate and evict him from the spot though. Sica with the heat wave position bottom middle, with intentions of firing them up into the shaft and like smoke from a chimney, trying to do somewhat and some kind of damage. Snakey though putting down even more damage. He's been so impressive this game. 20 kills. The man is on a mission, and so far it's been somewhat successful. Another fight for phlux, but ultimately it's 3 dead for Online Warriors, and that should mean more points towards that third hill for Acend.
And Online Warriors are probably looking at this hill saying, we have to get it. We know what happened in the first hill earlier. We weren't able to get hold of it. We actually went 2 down. We can't afford for it to be 3-2 in favor of Acend here. Otherwise, we put ourselves in 2 hills that we really struggled with earlier on. When that rotation resets and we go back towards green, new overshield coming up in 4 seconds. And if Acend are able to grab this one, then Online Warriors suddenly might be looking at facing defeat. Still time left. Still a chance to get back into this game.
Whether you're facing defeat or facing the hands, you've got to go now. Shaady picked up the overshield. He stepped inside the hill. He should be able to tank quite a lot of damage here for his team. Sica and Respectful are in the respawn screen. That should mean this push is a lot more difficult for Acend than it might have been before. We're nearly tied up here. Shaady yet to be evicted yet. Sica and Respectful have come off the respawn screen, and that one player Lqgend position bottom middle has ensured the escape route that Shaady had in mind will not be successful. 2 dead. Ooh. Make it all 4 dead for Acend. And Online Warriors still looking to play.
Acend have got one last push in them really on this hill. They could potentially start to set up towards for B, but I think with the amount of damage you can do with grenades here, you go for one last opportunity to try and break in and secure this point yourself, and they've done so. They've been able to break the setup. They've got 3 dead, make it 4, and off the back of an all 4 dead on the other side, Acend now do exactly the same, but have they timed it perfectly to secure this point? Yes, they have. 3-2 now, and Acend 1 away from winning this series and becoming Pro Series 7 champions.
And we head back down the green then, where Acend scored their 2nd hill, hoping for similar fortunes here. Snipedrone, 1 shot towards top middle, will not connect with a body nor a face. Snakey drops down under the nest bridge, and 2 shots to the spine. Lqgend picks up a double kill, but it's off the back of some of the damage that Snipedrone has been putting down for his team. It's 3 dead. And Mose the last man standing with another overshield about to pop up. Time is very much against Online Warriors now.
If Online Warriors decide to wait for this overshield, they give so much time to Acend. I don't feel like they can afford to do so, which is only going to play into the hands of Acend. They can almost leave the hill if they wanted to, prioritize this overshield, knowing Online Warriors have to push it. That's exactly what's happened. Online Warriors get the hill, but Snipedrone says, you know what? Thank you very much. That's the freest overshield of my life. Let's retake this hill, boys.
Overshield popped into his chest then. Sniper rifle still in the back pocket if he needs it. Drop shield to contend with 4 members. It's a hard hold here. They've set up the blocks, the barricades down. 3 members sore. Overshield completely evaporated. And it's Online Warriors who are on top right now.
That's a great hold indeed. Snipedrone just walked into a wall of BR fire and didn't really know where to look. And now Acend need to reassess how they want to approach breaking this hill. Do you send someone bottom middle? Yes, you do. And it's the bait and switch from Respectful and Snipedrone that we've seen many a time over the years in Halo. But Online Warriors, it has to be here in this hill. They have to make sure they try and tie this one up 3-3. 58 seconds left on the clock, so there is a potential for maybe trying to play time, but I don't think it's going to be a factor here. I imagine it's either 4-2 or 3-3 here.
Lqgend just needs to try and buy time for his team, trying to scamper away desperately, but phlux and Mose combined to make sure that that is not a reality that he can get. Mose on pillars manages to fire 1 at Snipedrone, and it will connect with a face. And all of a sudden, Online Warriors are on the cusp of tying up this game once more with 50 seconds to play with. 3-3 now, as we head into the final hill, the final hurdle for Acend to topple before claiming themselves as Pro Series 7 champions. Or will Online Warriors stick around for another game?
Online Warriors want to take this to another best of 5. They have to make sure they win these engagements. Phlux with the commando has been lethal today. but unfortunately does fall because a heat wave usually wins that engagement. Reversal onto Snakey. Online Warriors got a little bit of the hill. But with 30 seconds left, this is highly likely that, you know, a draw could happen. We go into whatever sort of overtime situation, but Online Warriors have done well to at least peg Acend back ever so slightly here. They're picking up some big kills, but Snipedrone is just running free down bottom middle.
Mose has the overshield, and Snipedrone had intentions of getting behind him with the back whack, but he's managed to pick up 2, and Mose is in the hill though. Overshield is gone as well. 3 dead. Shaady positioned on sandbags. He can ill afford to waste any more time. They're already halfway there.
One more push for Online Warriors. Sure, they're going to throw everything off spawn, but with Shaady going down, it leaves now Online Warriors as a 3, but Acend have lost one as well. It's 3 versus 3, make it a 2 versus 3. Online Warriors, their last chance is Mose and phlux to try and break this. Snipedrone, though, still has hill control and will take this fight versus Mose and will win, get the double killing spree. He could even get a triple here. Doesn't need it. He gets the assist, and Acend are 1 step closer.
It's only phlux left alive on the map to be a factor. He's unable to do so, and as you can see, Shaady wasting no time getting out of the lobby. It's Acend who are your EU Pro Series Week 7 champions. It wasn't as easy as they might have anticipated, but they got the job done, Dan.
Just as we started, just as we finished, things perfectly balanced and restored to order. Acend are on top, and you know, hats off to Online Warriors. They gave it a good shot. They got to a grand finals again, even from that 8th seed, but it just seems like Acend is that kind of barrier, that benchmark that everyone's trying to get to. And even though Snakey had 30 kills, just wasn't quite enough to beat the teamwork and cohesion that we saw Acend offer there. But Online Warriors, they've demonstrated that, you know, this is not going to be an easy ride for Acend whatsoever when we get to Valencia.
I know Wes, if he gets 30 kills in a game, he's asking his teammates what happened there. He's going to have a very real conversation. That's something we'll have to pose to him, how you don't manage to come out on top, because elsewhere the slays were so even between the 2 teams. One member on Acend got 20, he got 30, so they're not doing something right in the end to secure the hills. But it must be said, Online Warriors put up such a great fight that I'm so excited now for Valencia, Dan.
Absolutely. I mean, Valencia is going to have everything, and these are not the only 2 teams that are going to be vying for first place either. Na'Vi waiting in the wings. Quadrant will definitely want a stab at it. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, the likes of Lqgend and Blackhand put so much practice in that they want to also push into the chance of getting to a grand finals. Anything can happen on LAN. These teams haven't been able to face each other in a LAN environment except once or twice at international competition. But it's certainly going to be all on the table for these teams to try and demonstrate that they are the best in Europe when it comes to LAN competition, and put themselves in a situation where going into international at Orlando, they are that #1 team from Europe. It's Acend right now that definitely have the advantage that everyone's going to be looking at, that everyone's going to be trying to take down. But we've seen enough from both Online Warriors and Na'Vi today to say that this is not going to be an easy run whatsoever for Acend when we do get there. So close did Online Warriors come in that King of the Hill live fire, but it was some of those individual plays. Snipedrone making that flank at the end to make sure that he did enough damage to the overshield, but really impressed with what they had to offer.